Okay, this is a reaction video from Diane Jennings. Please click like, share, and subscribe for her as well as for me. I would appreciate it. 10 things Europeans envy about the USA. Let's see what this has to do with.
Sometimes it's just nice to have your arse kissed a little bit, you know? It sounds so cheesy. But it's a thing. It's a real thing. I think it's always good to have access to food. So today we are going to talk about 10 things. I think there's 10. I didn't actually count. There's usually...
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out as we go along.
About 10. Comment if I got it wrong. All comments are good for the algorithm, even the ones that diss me. So yeah, in and around 10 things that we envy in Europe about America. As ever, my usual disclaimer, these are just my thoughts and opinions.
Her thoughts and opinions, they are not meant for everybody. Not everybody in Europe envies these about the United States. These are her things that she thinks.
Generalizations. Don't take them too seriously. Don't take life too seriously. If you do, you're going to be in for a bad time. And life's hard enough. Don't be a silly Billy. She wanted to say don't be a hater-ass biatch, but she would never. Okay.
Thank you very much for clearing that up. I appreciate that very much.
The first thing is definitely a personal one of mine. It is... What just happened? Okay, the first one is definitely a personal one of mine. It is technology. Now, I'm not talking...
We have things over here that you don't have over there. I'm kind of curious about that.
Like global, huge things like the internet. Who actually invented the internet? I don't know.
The invention of the internet was a collaborative effort involving several individuals and institutions.
But in America, when I say they have a thing technologically that fixes every small problem in your life, they do. They have a thing that fixes every small problem in your life.
We do. That's true.
For example, you're feeling overheated. A European will say open a window. An American will say turn on the air conditioning unit. I was saying recently how hot it gets in summertime in bed and sometimes how you can't sleep. One of my patrons told me about this amazing bed thing that cools or heats your bed up.
Yeah, there are things like that in the United States.
No matter how you're feeling. I was talking about how problematic sometimes leaving your key in a door is, and you guys in the US told me to get this different type of handle on my door that requires a code. What I'm saying is Americans have a technological device that will solve your problem. I don't know why Europeans sometimes like to do things back to basics. We just...
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with how Europeans do things. I think Europeans do things fine. It's just different different things, different strokes, different folks. It is what it is. It's how it is.
Do an American default. I have a tech thing that will solve that. The next thing that I, as a European, envy about Americans is you have an expert for everything.
Yeah, we do. We do have an expert for everything. I mean, literally, no matter what you do or say or think, we have an expert for them. I mean, sometimes they're not really experts. They're full of it, but they can call themselves experts, so we just let them call themselves experts. So it is what that's just how it is.
There's a specialist who handles everything. I'm going to give you an example. Recently, I sent out my beautiful, only really designer thing I've had ever in my life, designer Louis Vuitton wallet, to be repaired in a shop. It's a general repair things shop, and it came back absolutely freaking destroyed. They destroyed it. I'm going to name and shame the company here, because why not? They have terrible reviews. I should have checked the reviews before. Anyway, I cried. But back to my point. After I was telling some of the patrons about it, you guys were saying, oh, you could have gone into a Louis Vuitton store and gotten it fixed. So I went into a Louis Vuitton store just out of pure curiosity and asked, and they said, no, you can do that in an American Louis Vuitton store, but we don't have specialists for that in most shops in Europe. A couple of months back, I had an issue with my oven, and rather than getting an oven specialist, I had to just call a handyman. Now, I'm not saying oven specialists don't exist, but they're not as handy.
Yeah, you can go to a lot of places. In the United States, like if you get like the extended special warranty, like at a Best Buy or something like that, you can have somebody come out there and fix your oven and take care of it pretty good.
Handyman. You'd have to be sending across the country potentially. for this specific oven specialist. Whereas in America, you just have specialists who will drive like 3 hours because you guys have no concept of that being a long distance. You're like, it's just up the road, 3 hours. The next thing I definitely envy, and honestly a lot of my friends do too, is you've deep fried everything. And
yeah, that is something that we do. We do deep fry everything. We deep fry Snickers bars. We deep fry everything. I mean, everything is deep fried. No, chicken, fish, you name it. We deep fry it probably.
America's attitude to deep frying stuff is, sure, why not? Let's try it.
Deep fried to perfection.
And I applaud that. Don't look at my nails. I can't afford to get them done this week. The next thing you guys do really well is customer service. Okay, I do.
Yeah, that's something we do specialize in customer service. That is the thing that was just in Germany they were talking about how why is everybody always on me or asking me if I need help or something like that, if I need help all. Well, customer service is something that's big in the United States.
I think there is a caveat in this because everybody has their own views on how they feel about the service sector being supplemented by the public. Most Europeans do feel that the restaurant that hires, for example, a waiter or waitress, should pay them enough for a living wage. Well, whatever your thoughts and opinions are, that's not the way it is in America. In America, you tip. But as a result, everybody's super nice in customer service in America. Oh, I forgot to take my pimple patch off during this video.
Don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. I hardly noticed it until you brought it up.
Too late now. I have a pimple patch on. Same thing goes for stores. When you go into stores, a lot of people pay their shop workers a little bit extra if they sell something, so they're paid on commission. So they're super nice to you in the United States of the America. Now, you could call this arse kissing, but honestly, sometimes it's just nice to have your arse kissed a little bit, That's definitely not the case.
It can be annoying sometimes too, though, but it is something that is very nice in the United States.
In all parts of Europe. Mostly when you get talking to somebody who works in the service industry, they're going to be pretty sound. But there are also some people who are just like, you are an inconvenience to them being in that store. I would equate it to the most similar experience I had of walking around shops and going to restaurants is in New York City. That is a very similar attitude, in my opinion, to a lot of places in Europe. The next thing that I envy...
Yeah, New York City, they're very, very... New York City's different. It's a different vibe.
About America, here in Europe, is you can vacation anywhere in the United States, and...
Yeah, I mean, that is a good thing, because in Europe you have smaller countries. Now, you can probably vacation everywhere you want in Germany, a place like that, or France. But you probably go to other countries like Spain or Italy or Switzerland or Austria, a place like that. But yeah, we're a big enough country, you can vacation, you can do anything you want in this country.
Even if you want to go somewhere hot or somewhere cold, you can just go in your own country. Here, it takes a lot more planning to travel. You have to go across an ocean, usually, to go on vacation. And with that comes a lot of things like passports. I do think it's wild how you have hot places and cold places in one place, even though it's a really big place. The next big thing, and this is a big thing, and I do think that a lot of Europeans envy this about the United States of America, it's how you can get anything at any time, because your stores are always open.
Yeah, we do have 24 hours a day service in a lot of places you can go to. That is a good thing. I mean, that's something that anything you need is like. I remember when I was a couple years ago, I was getting ready to fly out to San Diego, and I was having a problem with my stomach, and I had to get something, because I didn't want to have problems on the plane. So my plane took off at like 5:45 in the morning. And so I'm up at 3:30. I stop at a drugstore at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get what I need to soothe my stomach, and everything was fine.
Not all your stores. Mom and pop shops usually close, but you'll always have like a Walmart or a Target open. Am I right about saying that? Are they 24-hour? Well, no, because Natalie...
I'm not sure Target is, but Walmart maybe.
Natalie Portman got locked inside one in a movie. 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Okay, so most Walmarts close for a couple of hours. But in my experience, there are definitely shops that are open like at 2 a.m. in the morning. That is not a problem when I've been to the States in most places to find a shop that is open at all hours. In Europe, we do have things like 24-hour pharmacies and stuff, but it's hard to find. In some parts, you'd have to drive a really long time. And the same goes for fast food. You can get fast food at like 4 a.m. if you want in the States. I remember when I was a drunken college student and there'd only be like one chip shop open at that time. Whereas in America, you have so much choice. You can go to a million different places when you're drunk, which is a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it.
But I better soak up the alcohol with some food.
I think it's always good to have access to food. The next thing, and this is I guess more of a character trait of Americans, but it's how you guys are always in awe of like old things. It's just
Yeah, we're a newer country, so we're all in awe of old things. I mean, old things are very, very important in the United States. And so whenever we see something like in Europe, like we saw things like from the 12th century, stuff like that, that's really, really exciting.
very charming. And I realize that might sound condescending, and I don't mean it like that.
No, it's not condescending. It's perfectly fine.
But I love how an American sees a castle or a really old bench, they're like, wow! And, well, no, they're more like, wow. That's my American accent.
It's terrible.
I just think that's really nice, because we're just like, yeah, see that all the time. It's also really nice how you cherish your cultural identity. You're super into your heritage and like what parts of the world your ancestors came from. We don't care in Europe. For the most part, we just don't really care that much. If it's
it's funny. I looked at my ancestry. I did it, and I saw where I came from and everything like that, and how I, everything that makes me me. But I guess in Europe, it's not that big of a deal.
More than twice removed, we just don't care. If your parents came from a place, you're probably going to be interested in that culture. But if your grandparents or great-grandparents came from a place, it's less common to be super hyped about it. Or
yeah, my grandmother made it known to all of us that she was born in Austria-Hungary. That's where she was from. Even though the town that she grew up in is now in Romania. You call her Romanian, but she was from Austria-Hungary. Okay, that's where she was born. Not Austria, not Hungary, not Romania, Austria, Hungary.
Have it as part of your everyday life. I like how Americans are in awe of those things. The next one will come as no surprise, and I do think all of my friends and family who've been to America have commented on this. It is your choice of products and services. You have so much choice, to the point that for me, when I'm in the States, it's really overwhelming to see all the choice. But for example, recently I was on Twitch. Oh, I started Twitch, by the way. And I needed to buy a new chair for this room for editor Diane. You're welcome. It hasn't arrived yet. Sorry about that. And everybody was like, oh, try this place. And I was like, I can't because shipping and all that stuff. And really, I only had a choice of like 2 or 3 places I could order from that I trusted. There are other places you could order from, but you don't necessarily know them, and yeah. So there was like Amazon, IKEA. There are many, many more, I'm sure, reliable websites you could buy from. But in the United States, like you guys were quoting me chair companies galore, like famous.
Yeah, they're famous. There's a lot of different places you can get chairs. Look, I remember down in Florida, my mom found a chair at a place that, just so many different places you could find chairs.
Famous chair companies. I don't think I know of any company in Ireland or Spain that specifically is like a chair company. Like they just do chairs. And I'm going to go back to my old reliable, which is cereal. I freaking love cereal. You have so much choice in America. We do not have that much choice in Europe at all. At all.
Yeah, we have like Apple Jacks, Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, Fruity Pebbles with marshmallows, Lucky Charms, Cocoa Puffs, Frosted Flakes, Frosted Mini Wheats, and that's just a few. Corn Pops, things like that. The
next one, I'm going to leave it really simple. 2 words, free refills. I don't know.
Yeah, that's become a big thing. Is in the United States now. You get your drink and it's filled with ice, and it's filled with brimmed with ice, but you get free refills. So there's always refilling the drink for you. It's really really awesome. It's really really nice.
Why this isn't a bigger thing in Europe, I guess because they make so much money off the drinks, but it's so annoying. And it's so nice when I go to the States. I'm just like, more refills, please. I'm like a spoiled child. I'm like, I need to be refilled 3 times. I need to get my money's worth here. And the number one thing that I, as a European, envy about America, it sounds so cheesy, but it's a thing. It's a real thing. It's the American dream. Anybody can go to the United States and...
Yeah, I mean, that's, I can debate on that a little bit, but yeah, the American dream is very, very nice. It really is something that is special. That you can go to the United States and do whatever you want, be whatever you want. But there are some restrictions to that nowadays. But I'm not going to get into that. That's a little bit too political, and I don't want to get too political.
Anybody can become a billionaire, theoretically. Now, I know that's very much just a theory, like your education, a bit of luck, all that kind of thing. But for example, when I used to be an actor, all of us were fighting for these tiny, very few parts that came across people's desks in casting. Whereas in America, every state has its own film, TV industry. Not every state, I'm sure.
Not every state. I mean, it's not like you can go out to Wyoming and become a world famous actor, or go to North Dakota or South Dakota, someplace like that. But or even Ohio, for that matter. But
I don't know. Does Georgia have a thriving TV? I bet you have your own TV stations. And that's the thing. You just have so much opportunity. That's just one industry, and there's so much opportunity. Opportunity is there's not as much of it in Europe. I also feel like in America, people are looked at as independent more so. Nepotism is, of course, a big thing, like the Nepo baby culture.
Well, not as big as you think it is, but it can be.
But also, people applaud people who make it on their own. I think that is also to do with how people will live really, really far apart from their families and stuff.
Well, yeah, it is nice that you made it on your own and things like that, but there's also the other part about where you fall on the political landscape that also determines things like that. But I'm not going to get deep into that.
There's just a huge opportunity for growth. Opportunity. Maybe opportunity is a less cheesy word than the American dream. But yeah, I think that's really lovely. And those are just a few things that I envy as a European about America. Let me know below in comments if there's anything about you.
Okay, this was Diane Jennings, 10 things Europeans envy about the United States. And there was a few things there that I did not know about, but a few things that I did. Well, please click like, share, and subscribe for her as well as for me down there. I would appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day, and thanks for watching.